Hey, what up? It's Brad with Home Love Construction. We're about to jump into a video that we just wrapped of a little content production talk that I gave to my Keep It Local networking group. I love being a part of this group, so I really wanted to bring some serious value. And if you are a business owner or operator, or you know someone who is, please direct them to watch this video. I think you're gonna get a lot out of the content that I'm putting out here. And also watch for videos like this in the future. If you don't like our Facebook page, please hit that like button. It'll subscribe you so that you see more of our videos. And I would really appreciate it. And I think that you are going to get a lot of value out of what I'm putting out, especially if you're interested in business or you run your own business. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Will not go in peace, no. Feeling like beast mode. This my time to feast. All y'all got a slice. I'm starving for a piece. Money on my mind, I gotta eat.
Thank you. Cool. Okay. So what I want to talk to you guys about is creating content for your business. And I really just kind of want to start out by setting the frame of like really the basics. So like I really want to start from like fundamental principles and then go to actual execution of creating content. So I guess I want to start with questions. So Kathy, can you tell me what kind of business you run? What is your business?
We're essentially a
just in like a couple words, like real quick.
day spa, skincare,
Day spa.
massage.
Okay, perfect. I disagree. I think you run a media company / day spa.
Okay.
So what kind of company do you run, Pat?
Air conditioning and heating.
Wrong. You run a media company / air conditioning company. Ryan?
You already know I run a media company.
Okay, media company / personal training, right? So, right, exactly. So I don't mean to razz you guys, but I just wanted to give a couple examples of, in my opinion, we're in February of 2019, anyone who runs a business runs a media company first / whatever else you do. I'm of the opinion that your media presence online, which is becoming the world, in case you guys don't know, in 25 years, we're all gonna live in virtual reality headsets anyways. So the internet is becoming the world. If you don't exist on the internet, you don't exist at all. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I think probably a good place to start is, what is content? So in my opinion, there's 4 forms of content that you can put out on the internet. They are pictures, so just snapshots, videos, written word, so like articles, any kind of blog posts, anything like that, and then audio, so podcasts, even videos where the video is kind of mailed in and the audio is just, conversations and stuff like that. So when you really boil it down to those 4 pillars of content, I think that for each of your different businesses, you can focus on one of those specifically. That's going to be the highest return for you, or alternatively, that's the easiest for you to create. Some people here are probably, if you're doing it yourself, it's easier for you to write than maybe take pictures or something like that. But I'll go a little more into the actual production on the back end of my talk. So why in 2019 do we need to produce content? Like why? In my opinion, we live in a very, very special time in the history of kind of the world and humanity. So, and I know that's kind of like a grand, like, oh, cool. But the internet is just coming to maturity. So the internet is just starting to do the things that we were promised it would do when it first started in, late 80s, early 90s. So think of like cryptocurrency, for example. We're just starting to get instantaneous transfer of money. We've still had to do it through a bank for forever. We're just now hitting the real capabilities of the internet. So along with that, now content storage is extremely easy. You get like 2 gigabytes free on Google Drive. There's tons of places where it's extremely cheap to store data. And so it's never been easier to house content on the internet, and it's never been easier to distribute it. So the other thing is, the internet has done away with any middleman that would have been in the way of, say in 1980 you want 1,000 people, or say like 10,000 people to see a video that you created. You had to go to a television, basically a distributor of videos, a television station, and then pay them to get your video and be selected and meet their criteria of what they would air as commercials. And then you only got to do in that 30-second slot at this time of day, whatever. That's gone. You can now reach people with videos through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at any time of day, whenever you want. And there's no middleman. Obviously, each of them have restrictions on what they will and will not put out. But for what we're doing, there is no middleman anymore. You can go directly to your customer with almost zero friction. So that in itself, I want to kind of let that sink in. That's never existed before. The middleman, the internet now is the middleman. The internet has disintermediated any kind of friction there would have been before. You can do basically whatever you need to do to get in touch with your customer. So I think from there, the next thing to talk about is social media. So the term social media, in my opinion, is a misnomer. I'm of the opinion that social media just describes the current state of the internet. If you think of the internet as a huge pie chart, and what takes up the most attention on the internet, right now social media is like 95% of it. If you include YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, obviously there's other large websites other than those platforms, but those platforms are the internet for all intents and purposes. I mean, they are. It is the internet. So if you don't produce content, like I said before, on those platforms, you don't exist. Because the internet is becoming the world, those platforms are the internet. Now, obviously, this isn't necessarily 100% in our small county of Pasco County. There's a lot to be said for physical marketing and having good signage on your vehicles and stuff like that. And that's not dead, but it's just because it's not dead yet doesn't mean you shouldn't be looking for it. It's like in hockey, you don't go to the puck, you go to where the puck is going. So the puck is going to the internet, you really should consider you should go to the internet. Okay, so I think does that kind of make sense to everybody as far as like why you should produce content? Yeah. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is content quality. When a lot of people make the decision that, okay, I want to start producing content for my business, and I see this a lot with friends of mine who are doing, so I have a lot of like hustler friends who want to like do their own startup and stuff like that, and when they talk to me about producing content, a lot of them get hung up on the quality. And so I wanted to really hammer on the fact that the quality when you're starting is not important. The concept, the phrase that I like to throw around is that 1 is greater than 0, right? If you're not producing any content, you're not taking any at bats, there's no chance of you winning, and you don't get to learn. If you can at least start with even if it's just selfie videos on your iPhone or Android, for any of you who use Android, I don't know why you would, but yeah, exactly. Even if it's just a selfie video on your phone, that is better than not producing any videos or pictures of what you're doing. Okay, so 1 is greater than 0. Really try to remember that. And even I do that. If I'm in wasting time nitpicking my videographer's videos, I'm like, hold on, just get it. I focus more on volume, and there are arguments either way, but when you're starting, I'm of the opinion that 1 is greater than 0. That's kind of the key thing. So along with that, another thing I like to talk about is when people start creating things, because content it's an art, right? So there's math of how you distribute it, and then the art is in creating it. So creating videos is kind of an art. Creating pictures is an art. Just talk to any video or photo enthusiast, and they'll go on for hours about the art of capturing a scene in real life and making it look a certain way when it plays on your computer. But a lot of people get a little bit shell-shocked when they try to produce their first content, and they're shocked by what they thought they could do versus what they can actually do. So it's like the could versus would. In a lot of people's minds, they have an idea of, oh, if I made a video, it would look like this. and then when they actually go to make the video, it does not look like that at all. Has anybody experienced that? Can we get hands for who's experienced that? Yeah, like try to create something, or you try to like write an article about something, and it just doesn't sound like what you thought it would. It doesn't sound as good as it did in your head. So getting crippled by that is a losing mentality, and I want everybody in here to win. So really not judging yourself on the quality of your content, I think, is huge to get off the ground at least. You know, you can worry about bringing up the quality of it later on. Starting is really the key here. It's really just getting that initial momentum of, okay, now I'm putting out a video a week or a picture a week or an article a week. Now it's becoming a system. Now I can work on refining the system. You have to create the system first, and then you can go back and tweak it, you know, and add to it. Yeah, so like my next point is like perfectionism is the enemy of consistency. I pretty much hit that. So I would say for quality hacks, once you're getting into these are really video oriented. We do a lot of video at Home Love Construction because remodeling is very visual, and it's not a lot of people know or understand all the steps that go into it. So a big mission for me has been showing people everything that goes into a remodel so that they understand when I give them a bid for their bathroom that's say like $15,000 or $20,000, in some cases $25,000, they understand all the steps that are going into creating that bathroom. And unless you have the full context, it's like, what, for a bathroom, that's ridiculous. But it's, if you break it down, then it becomes more feasible. And I think that consumer information, like informing consumers, is the best way to really develop a really strong customer base and a really loyal customer base as well. So, and by the way, if you guys have questions, I'm gonna ask you to hold them until the end, but write them down as soon as you think of them so you don't forget what it is. And I've got a pen here if you need it right. So quality hacks as far as pictures and videos, I've just got 3 super simple ones, and they're cheap as well. One is if you get a like an LED light like I have right here, they sell them a little, I got kind of a crappy one, but it's like $10. Lighting is super important for videos and pictures. If you have, like, for example, the natural light of this room is only going to come in through those windows, right? So if it was just a natural light setting, you want the light to be on the, if it's you that's in the picture or video, which I would recommend as a business owner, you really need to be the face of your business. That's why I'm in pretty much all of our videos. The light should be hitting you on your front, and the camera ideally should be between you and the light source. You don't want to backlight yourself, which means the light would be back here, I would be here, and the camera would be there. That's not a good scenario. It's hard to see you. It's a lot easier to see you, and it looks better if it's in front of you. Another thing is if you're doing videos with your phone, for example, a GorillaPod or a small like phone-sized tripod with flexible legs is really great for not having like the low angle gym shot. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Where people who like do lifting videos, yeah, you know, where it's like they just propped it up on the floor, you know, and it's just not that, again, it doesn't matter. Like I give huge props to that person because they're at least putting out content, which is better than a lot of us are doing most of the time. So again, remember, 1 is greater than 0, but if you can, and you can spend the $10 or $15 on a little tripod to just get it off the ground and get a level camera angle or put it up on something, that's also a huge hack. And then the biggest one for me is recording your audio separate from your video. So like right now I have my phone going with a voice memo recording, and this is actually how I do most of my audio for the videos in our company. So I'll even, I mean, I'm super ghetto about it. I will hold the phone as if it's a microphone if I'm walking around a job site or something. And I honestly, we've probably put out, it's gotta be 100 at this point. 100 videos where I'm doing that and no one has ever said anything about it. So that brings me to another great point, is when you start putting out content, you just assume, because we are very critical of ourselves typically, you know, like you are typically your own biggest critic, you assume that people are just going to nail you on every little thing that's even potentially wrong in your video. And typically I've seen the opposite. I mean, some people like doing that, but that is the far minority. The majority of people appreciate what you're doing. And if you think about who follows you on, say, Facebook, or if I don't know if any of you have a YouTube or anything, it's your fans and it's people, your family, and people who generally like you. So if you're giving them more of an opportunity to engage with you and see and learn about what you're doing, they're going to appreciate that more than they're going to want to nitpick your video. And again, I mean, some people love like nitpicking. We all have that friend who loves to give us advice on things that we're doing that they have no context for. But that's okay. You know, that's okay. There's always one of those. So don't get crippled by the idea of what if someone likes this and they pick out this little thing that I said wrong or whatever. Again, being perfect is less important in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion. A lot of people would disagree with some of the stuff I'm saying, but I feel really strongly that consistency in content production is more important than perfection. And it makes me feel really good that Denise is nodding, because I think that she has really good perspective on this. Okay, so I would say my next biggest point in the whole, as I was thinking through this, my biggest obstacle when I'll give you a little bit of background for me. I started working in home love construction about 18 months ago. I was in the Army before that, and so when I got out of the Army, I basically had to decide whether I wanted to get, you know, kind of like a Wall Street-ish job. I was like a smart kid, so I have a physics degree. And so I had to decide whether I wanted to do that or help my family grow their business. And I decided to go the help my family grow their business route, because I feel like I owe my parents a lot. They've done a lot for me. So I wanted to take a couple years when I'm young and I still have time to go do my own thing later to really help them. So when I got back in the business, we had zero media presence, like most small businesses, or, you know, minimal, a couple pictures on Facebook. We had a Facebook page, stuff like that. But when I got back into the business, there were so many things that I wanted to address, especially on the operations side of it, that if I was trying to run the business and be the main content production person, I was killing myself trying to get it all done. And then I would get mad at myself when it didn't get done, and I really was just beating myself up. And so I actually, about 3 months in, punted. At first I was shooting videos and editing them myself, and I actually decided from months, I think it was like 3 to 6, so about a 3-month period, we didn't put out any content, because I decided, okay, I'm going to punt this until I can hire someone to delegate it to. And so that really is the hack, is in content production, you either have to go very, I don't want to say low investment, but very, you have to either make it very easy for yourself, because we're all already, like Ryan said, like overstressed, overworked, and tired. We already all have a lot on our plate as business owners or operators, so it's hard to add that next thing. So I would encourage you to not take this as you need to add something onto your plate, but this is something that can be very, very easily delegated. I'll get some testimony from AJ here. How often do I communicate with you? I mean, I kind of do. I'm kind of an over communicator, but compared to like as an employee, how much do I communicate with you?
Pretty well.
No. But like volume of communication. Like, am I just like on you every minute, like every minute of every day, or am I kind of like, go here, do this?
It's pretty much go here, do
right?
this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And
You
yeah. Right.
gotta make it
Yeah.
look a little bit unethical.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you're gonna hire a videographer, it's very easy. If it's someone who you vet and they have experience creating pictures or videos, and you can tell that they've done work like that in the past, they understand. They're gonna very easily understand what you want. And if they don't understand, let them create whatever they're gonna create. Critique it on the back end. Put the content out on social media. That's another thing that I really see people screwing up on, is they'll go back and forth trying to get the content nailed down perfectly, and before they know it, they've gone 3 weeks and they haven't put out a single video. So when say like AJ or one of my other guys sends me a video, sometimes I post it without watching it, to be honest with you, because at this point I trust them that they know we've gotten enough feedback to where, and I wouldn't recommend doing that at first. Like at first I watched the videos and gave a lot of feedback, but I would still typically, unless there was something glaring, I would still typically post the video as is and then send them my feedback, and I would say for the next one, change this, 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 and this. So that I think is a really good way to also not beat the people up that you're working with. I think we've all probably been in situations where we bring someone on to help us with something, and then they're not doing it exactly as we envisioned, and then we just beat them up constantly about how they're doing something, rather than taking what they've done, because they are still probably adding value to the system, and then again, like I said before, you tweak the system afterwards. Take the result, because again, the 1 is greater than 0 thing. If you could do something at 100% level, and you bring somebody on who can do it at, say, even a 70% level, and some people in here are probably like, oh my god, a 70% level, oh, that's terrible. But 2 people, one doing something at 100 and the next person doing something at 70 is still 170 versus 100, right?
Right.
I mean, that's pure math. So just keep that in mind. And then my last point on here was if the first one doesn't work out, hire another one. And that's in terms of either video production people or anybody who you try to farm out your content production to, which again I would recommend. I think delegating this is the big hack, because we are just overworked. So if you decide that, okay, I really want to produce content for my business, I really encourage you guys to hire someone to do it, and it doesn't have to be a huge commitment. You can hire people on a project basis as well. Honestly, I find most people I'm going to work with on either Craigslist or Indeed or Facebook job postings. So AJ actually responded to a Facebook job post for a videographer, and that's how he works with us. So you would be shocked at how many applicants you're gonna get. I think I got like probably 30 applicants for a videographer position. And so I scheduled like 11 interviews, did them all in one day, just blocked off a day for it, and hired AJ actually ironically, he was the last interview of the day. So, but yeah, it's not difficult if you're willing to just put in a little bit of work and really decide, okay, I'm gonna handle this for my business and figure it out. So the final point that I wanted to hit is another hack about creating more content is if you get to the point to where you've decided you're going to create content, you've maybe even decided you figured out who you're going to delegate it out to, whether it's someone you already employ. That's the other thing, is you could potentially delegate this to someone you already employ who's not being fully utilized in your business, someone who's part-time who could be full-time. Or you hire a videographer, so you've taken those steps, and now you've done a couple videos, and then 4 weeks in, you're like, oh shit, what am I going to make a video about this week? The way to circumvent that issue is document what you do not create content. We, for the most part, in Home Love Construction, we do not create content. We just document what we're already doing. I sit in front of a camera and run my mouth about what we're doing, which I already know because I help the customer design whatever they're doing. I already know the intimate details of it. I just run through what I know we're doing and what I know we're going to do, and then they use that as a voiceover and just show shots of it actually happening. It's there's no thought past that for me. Now we have plans to do some creation stuff, but we've been doing this for like close to 12 months now. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to be creating the perfect how-to video that's going to bring ultimate value to your customer immediately. You can start very simply with just documenting what you do and just showing people what you do, and that won't necessarily lead to instant business results, and that's a whole another point that I really need to address here at the end. But documenting over time will allow people to become more familiar with you and your business. And again, it allows you to become the face of the business. And honestly, I think you're going to be shocked when you start producing content at how many people kind of come out of the woodwork and acknowledge what you do, and I get a lot all the time. Oh, I didn't realize you guys did kitchens. You know what I mean? Because people probably don't know as much about your business as you think. Has anybody been shocked in the past, say, like 12 or 18 months about how little people know about their business and what they do? Yeah. It's pretty shocking when you actually get out there and talk to people about how little they know. So this is your opportunity to let them see behind the scenes. And it's probably people who are very, like, your family. Like that comment I'm talking about kitchens, that's from a family member who's, like, very close to us. So those are the people you're gonna hear from first, and then it'll branch out and become customers. So on the documenting versus creating point, it's really about setting in place a process or a system, and creating a system, and then letting that system run, and then over time improving it and getting it to the point to where you're a well-oiled machine and you're just putting out a ton of content. And I think the one of the last things I'll say is on the point of documenting versus creating. If you're at the point, thank you. If you're at the point where you're going to try to create content, like say, Ryan, you're going to make a specific how-to video that's broken down on how to properly perform an exercise, that's going to take longer than just documenting yourself training clients, but that will produce business results faster than documentation. So that's just one point I wanted to make. If you guys want to go into trying to create specific content that provides value to the customer, that is more likely to bring back business results than just documenting what you're doing. So do keep that in mind. That's why we plan on doing a lot of content creation this year versus just documenting what we're doing. But while we're doing that, we are still going to document just to keep our content volume up. In February of 2019, content volume, you're not going to oversaturate your content feed. You can't. You physically cannot. Not at all. There's, if you go to, is anybody familiar with the brand Fashion Nova? Does anybody know what that is? No? Fashion Nova? So if you ask any probably 20 to 30-year-old woman, I would really encourage you guys to do this. Ask her if she knows what Fashion Nova is. She probably owns 5 to 10 pairs of their jeans or leggings. They have absolutely just destroyed the like, say $20 to $40 range of pants. And the way they do it is they post on Instagram, I kid you not, 12 times a day. They post every 2 hours on Instagram. And they've done it for 2 years. And they've grown from nothing to, I mean, they've got, they're a privately owned company, so I don't know their numbers. They have like 15 million followers on Instagram. And they've just absolutely just blown it out of the water. So that's a really good example to show that, in my opinion, you just cannot oversaturate your feed. I just really don't know what to say other than that. That's my opinion on it.
You get to a certain point, like on social media, like Facebook, like I know I've lost friends. I put 5 posts up in a day. You know what I mean? I know some of you guys probably on my friends list. I know you guys are probably gonna follow me. Like I don't want to watch this. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? So I kind of like in my world, I wrestle with that. Can I oversaturate to the point where I can still be on my friends list, but are you still seeing my content? Does that make sense? The unfollow.
Well, that's the other thing is your content. I mean,
needs to be engaging.
it should be engaging, but the quality then is the determining factor. But you putting out content is better than you not putting anything out. You know what I mean?
Can I touch up on that real quickly?
Yes, absolutely.
With Ryan,
Yep.
I think Ryan shows a lot of, like, the repetitiveness of, doing whatever squats or whatever. But I think if you also go into like how you're building relationships and how you're helping people, like, from like being no confidence to confidence. In that sense, like, you're a people person. I think you touch their heart, pull at the heartstrings of how you transform people.
I think I follow some of your stories, like
Yeah.
some of the people. The woman that I recommended the other day, she's lost 12 pounds in less than a week.
I
I
just
know
think
that.
that's-
Why do I know that? Because I recommended her to you. You got her.
And
You
tap
signed her
into
up, so
that,
now I'm
tap into
following
how she's
it.
more
So
confident. Yeah.
other
Yeah.
people are going to
Yeah.
see these stories
Yeah, and that's.
Tell me when it gets annoying, you've already done.
I'm different because I'm involved with you and I'm watching what you're doing and I'm watching what everybody's doing. I'm trying to learn things, so I'm seeing what you're gonna learn, but other people aren't gonna have maybe that same interest. I may not be the judgment. Ask your friends.
I didn't interrupt you though.
You're fine. Yeah, so we'll actually do questions here in a second. I just wanted to wrap by saying, for me, this is so important that I want to kind of offer all of you guys a favor, similar to how Denise does free consultation, 30 minutes, right? 30-minute consultations for anyone in this group who's a member. Which, by the way, if you haven't done, you are making a massive mistake by not doing that. You need to sit down with Denise for 30. Like, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're not doing it. If you haven't done it, you're wrong. I want to offer everybody to make a free promotional video for your business. So it'll be probably about a minute in length, and it'll just be a short, quick little, it'll show your business, like kind of what you do. We can figure out whether we want to do maybe a customer testimony or something like that. But I just wanted to offer that to all of you guys as kind of like a thank you, and to try to add to the group. Well, I think the more that we can add to this group, the higher quality of people we're going to attract to the group, and then the better we're all going to be able to do together, kind of as friends and business. Business development. It's the whole game. So.
Cohesion, appreciate it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it's about. So.
It's an amazing, generous offer to the
Yeah,
group.
absolutely. My pleasure. It doesn't take us that long to make a 1-minute video, so it's no big deal. Okay. Okay, so questions, yeah.
Cost of pride, just jump right to the way.
What? Cost?
Well, I'll jump in a second. I'll do my first question.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of your videos. And
Yeah.
I made a couple comments I like whether professional or Chris.
Mhm.
Have you ever had a client who's ever got a job just from your videos?
Yes.
And there you go, to where they actually ask, I need you to do my cabinets, but I also want you to video it. Have you ever seen
Oh, no.
Really?
No, we haven't had somebody who asked for a video of the job being done.
Right. I mean,
No.
You sure about that they haven't? Because I get a lot of that. People will come in, they'll come in for just a month, 2 months. I want my Facebook fame, look at the video and then they're gone. As I'm looking at your video, I'm like, you gotta be doing the same thing. You gotta get people like, yeah, what? Almost like I'm something on that mantelpiece. There's a video.
Don't overestimate how many people watch our videos. Most of our videos get like 120 views. Yeah. Yeah.
They look pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, the ones that I share on Trinity Chat or Newport Chat and Odessa Chat they'll like break like 1,000 views, but it's not. I mean, we're not blowing it out of the water here and getting like thousands and thousands of views on each video.
There's a lot.
But you get business from the video.
You're seeing
Yeah.
a lot in the news
Yeah.
feed.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and the news feed is busy, which is again on that point of not being able to oversaturate your customer's feed. If it's not good, Facebook just won't show it to them.
Right.
But if it is good, Facebook will show it to them, and a lot of them.
And if Facebook thinks you guys wanna see it.
Yeah.
Right. I'll add to Brad's point on the videos too. If you're posting them on your Facebook page, you have all sorts of statistics and stuff.
Yes.
You can get on your videos, so
Yeah.
you can see what's popular. You can see who it's popular with.
Yep.
And you can leverage that and do other things with it.
That demographic information, is extremely helpful.
Right.
Yeah. And another point I wanted to add is when you're creating a video, and this is just kind of my personal thing. Do whatever suits you, but I've found that I'm more engaged, and I feel from what I've seen that my like customers and like consumer base is more engaged when I'm in the video. I look directly at the camera and I say the word "you" a lot. When I'm introducing and addressing the camera, I don't say "you guys." I don't say "hey there, whoever, whatever group." I say "you," because I want it to feel like I'm talking directly to the person on the other side of the camera. Does that make sense? I think that's a huge hack. Yeah,
Because
Phil.
you are.
You are, exactly.
I was reading an article talking about this, but someone also said, everybody has Alexa now, and Siri.
Mhm.
That now that there's companies that are specializing in creating your own tone, like your own jingle. So if that
Yep.
ever gets played in a video, Alexa will pick it up or something like that. Is that becoming a thing, or is that something we should maybe look into?
So sonic branding is, I think, what I would refer to that as. Absolutely going to be a massive trend over the next
Who
10
would
years.
you go to get a jingle or a sonic branding? What company do you go to have your own jingle, so you can, if you ever play or any of your videos, you have that, so.
You can do a couple things. You can find, so music producers could easily do that. They would probably charge next to nothing.
Because isn't that there's certain jingles that will play and Alexa will pick up, like for an ad or something. Yeah.
So I'm not familiar with the Alexa piece of it, but I know that I actually just texted all. We have like a video, like a group chat between me and my video guys, and I think I just texted all of them recently. I want to create basically like an audio tag. That's what I'll call like an audio tag that goes at the beginning of all my videos, so that that's the sound. That's the sound of Home Love Construction.
So you think that's a good idea? Is maybe to start looking into
Not only do I think
audio tag?
not only do I think it's a good idea, I think it's going to be it. Like I think if you create an audio tag and make it a real piece of your brand in the next 5 years,
Because it's almost
that'll
like
change your business. I think it'll
those
change your business.
RF. I don't use them, but those little.
QR readers.
Yeah, like a QR reader. So it may almost make it like a QR reader, but it's audio tag.
It's a QR reader that actually people use though.
I do,
Yeah, those are-
I don't even know how to
Yeah.
use it, but
I don't either. Yeah, exactly.
Amazon returns use that the most.
I'm noticing, I think I'm pretty cutting edge, I'm trying to stay on top of things. You guys familiar with proximity marketing? Any of you guys seen the Beacon Jet?
Yeah, we had the one guy that was in here.
Okay.
Is that the one, the device you put in?
You put
and
it in
it-
your pocket, and it blasts your notifications.
Only for Android though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now what happened is I spent a little bit of money into it.
Mhm.
I mean, I was there, I was throwing in my bush gardens, you walk by, taking you right to that website. It was really cool at first.
Mhm.
I saw about $1,000 into it.
Yeah.
But now Android and Google are like, no, we're just not doing this nearby.
Because you're not paying for
Right,
it.
so I would encourage you to read as business owners, this new cutting edge technology, before you dive in, and make sure it's been established. Make sure it's something from Amazon. Amazon's got done, it's not gonna go anywhere. Except for I'm seeing a lot of hit or miss, Beacon marketing might go back, there's a lot of, Bill Apple,
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Well, good news is in about an hour when we leave, we'll all get Amazon notifications that there's going to be a new product.
Audio
for us.
tag, audio tag, buy one
You
today.
don't have to create your own music. There's commercially available music
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah.
You could purchase a commercial license for it.
Mhm.
When I was doing my weekly video show, I bought a sound bite of music that I used at the beginning of all of my shows.
Yep.
I think it's coming more new technology, something like to where if you hear something, it'll bring their website up on your phone.
I guess what he means is like Baby Shark, da da da. Like
And then your
if
phone-
someone's looking for that, Alexa will pick up that da 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 da. Yes,
It's
yeah, that's like crazy.
Audio leak.
That's crazy technology. But who knows how to do that? How do you?
Yeah, I honestly don't think that's like a relevant strategy for us. Like
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put too
worry about
much
it.
into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean, if you were gonna be Baby Shark, maybe, but, seriously,
Looking for Mama Shark.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
go there.
That'd be
I
good for
would-
preschool.
Yeah, I'd buy commercial license for an audio split if you're gonna use one.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Any other questions that I can answer for anybody?
Oh, when you're interviewing, videographers, what questions do you ask them?
So I'm actually, I think that when I'm hiring, I think about how the person is going to fit into the culture of our company a lot. So are they really a hard worker, obviously, but are they a hard worker and are they a solutions-oriented person and a team player? I really try to hammer on those points. And then obviously I look at the video, I want to see a lot of their work.
Okay.
And I want to see that their video style is what I want. So there were some people who I interviewed who maybe technically made better videos than say like AJ would make, but I like the way AJ makes videos better because that's just like my style. He does like really like swooshy transitions and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. I like that kind of stuff. Some people like more cut, well thought out shots. I don't really care so much about that. I just want I like what I like, and so I want that to come through in our videos. I really think that it should be a reflection of you, because if you're not, and again, this comes back to like authenticity. Authenticity is everything. In case you guys haven't noticed, cameras are everywhere. and they're not going away. They're not. And people can, you know, collectively, we can all complain about lack of privacy all we want, but who here is going to stop using Facebook? You know, I mean, the behavior just says the other way. So being authentic actually is a practical strategy in the coming years and decades. You just don't really have any other choice. Yeah.
Have a plug his ears on this one.
What?
Cost
You're fine.
effective.
Are they cost effective?
Yeah, because
Not at first.
Okay.
No, not at all.
I was gonna
It's
ask
an
you.
investment.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was gonna ask you how much you're paying when he's in the room.
Yeah.
I'll message you later.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just build that into your cost of your job.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Margin.
yeah.
Just like any other marketing, it's,
Yep.
you know, it's something that you invest in your company so you get a return on the back end.
That's what overhead
Yeah.
profits for.
Yep, yep, yes.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, are those the main three?
So, I'll tell you what I focus on. For probably up until like 2 weeks ago, I only focus on Facebook. And it's not because the other platforms are not relevant. They absolutely are, and you absolutely can get business from those other platforms. But in my opinion, if you focus on one platform and really nail content production for that, figure one out at a time. And don't try to take, that's another thing that people who are just starting really screw up on so bad, and it kills me to see this. They try to do all the platforms at once, and they're spending an inordinate amount of hours just because they feel like they have to do it on all platforms.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
You can just do it on, I don't think we even have a Twitter because I just don't really,
Yeah, I don't see Twitter being really all that.
right. I mean,
But
we've,
Instagram, absolutely.
yeah, exactly. And so for us, we've really focused on Facebook because on Facebook, you can not only market, but you can brand and market at the same time. So you can be trying to convert sales, but instead of you just showing up as a blue link on Google, your logo is next to the ad. So you're also building brand recognition as you're running ads. So Facebook is just crazy powerful for a business. Yeah.
I'll add to what Brad said, and I mean, don't be on a platform just to be on a platform.
Yes.
Okay, be on a platform because your customers are on that
Yep.
platform.
Me and Heather
Yep.
have actually been trying to work on this, and we actually set like a goal, 1 to 2 posts a week.
Yep.
We're actually achieving that.
It's beautiful.
We're hitting
Yeah.
on the holidays, Black History Month, Valentine's Day we just hit on. Now I'm getting ready, I just seen something else coming up that we're gonna try to touch on, and just content. And now I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna do some time-lapse videos of us doing an install.
Absolutely.
Clip it on a
Yeah,
truss
that'd
in
be
the
amazing.
attic,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and you can see the old junky one come out,
Great
in,
idea.
boom.
Uh-huh.
So I'm
Yep.
actually, I'm getting ideas.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
And you can take, I know Brad's good at this, measure. If you don't measure what results you're getting from what you're putting out,
Yep.
it didn't happen,
Mhm.
okay?
Gotcha.
You're wasting your time and money.
Well, like he said though, 1 is greater than 0 because even though we may not be getting a lot right now, this is
Oh, it's
something I
insurance for
feel,
the future.
well,
Yeah.
our customers can go, when they hear about us, I know I do this sometimes, I go on their Facebook and I start looking back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what did you do? What did you do? And then if you have this history build, I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wanna
Exactly.
get the most bang for your buck,
Yeah.
though, so if you're investing in this stuff because you think it's good stuff and it's gonna help you in 2 years, that's not gonna get your business right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got a question for
Make
Denise.
sure you balance it and measure.
Right.
I got a question for Denise. and
Sorry, I'm
Brad.
hijacking
You're
your,
fine.
I
No,
didn't
no,
mean to.
No, you're fine.
I just got a question. He can answer, anybody else that can answer. So for example, this is, I think, a really good question. I don't think we've ever it before. So me, I'm in tons of groups, so I post my own ads. But then if someone's asking for someone in groups that everyone's in, I then recommend myself. But these sponsored ads, Denise,
Uh-huh.
so for example, let's say Ann wants to target a certain demographic or a certain area in Trinity, and she wants to send something out, and it says, hey, if you're looking for a realtor in this area, do sponsored Facebook ads work, or are they a waste of money?
Oh, they're absolutely not a waste of money, and they're absolutely a waste of money.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. If you run a Facebook ad that is not focused, that does not have appropriate copy, doesn't have appropriate call to action, doesn't target the right market, it's an absolute waste of money. If you do a Facebook ad that's targeted, focused on a specific outcome, you watch it for how it's performing, it's absolutely not a waste of money.
Right. The reason I ask, I guess, is it a numbers game? And the reason I say that is I send out postcards. Like I'll pick a certain area, and like if you're a pizza restaurant, people are gonna hold on to it because everyone's gonna go and eat. But as far as painting, if I send it to 1,000 houses and only 5 people need things, I mean, still my return is pretty good. So, for example, when I sent out the Champions Club, off of like maybe $400 that I spent, I probably got like $8,000 in jobs. So, but again, it's a numbers game. So is it the same thing with the sponsored Facebook? So I'm all good about everything you said as far as call to action, because I did it before with no call to action and like didn't get no calls. But when you put something on there, hey, this much money off, or I'll do this for free, or that call to action. And this time I actually put pictures of houses before I just put the logo. So again, learning little by little. But is it a numbers game? Like, in other words, or?
Well, I think you can control the outcome. It's not just a numbers game. You've got to test. It's a combination of a lot of different things, because it's copy, it's visual, it's call to action. Those 3 things, focused on the right audience, is what's going to give you the winning combination. I wouldn't just throw money at a Facebook ad. If you want to throw money at a Facebook ad, you can throw it right in my wallet, But, I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
But you can lose a lot of money on Facebook ads. But you can make tons of money.
And Fred, I have in the past wasted a lot of money. Oh, absolutely. And this is why I'm telling you guys, you need to sit down with Denise. Until we sat down and I paid her to do an hour consultation on Facebook ads, and the ads that we put out are working. Like in the first few days, they're working.
Oh, so you've done sponsored ads?
Yes.
You know what? I need to book another hour with Denise, but I want you
Thank you, Fred.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's working. I want it to work
So
even
am I.
better.
So am I. Yeah, I know.
I want it to put money in your
I
pocket.
know.
Here's my question. What I want is, can I book an hour with you? Okay. And what I want you to do, I want you to teach me the Facebook, like the split test.
Okay, can we wait? Can we hold on that and let Brad finish up? Do you mind?
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't want to. We've hijacked this talk. I don't.
No, not at all. Well, this part of the meeting is for questions, so it's it's all good. Speaking of, how are we on time?
46:39.
And it's 8:55. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Quick question. So what do you do for a living? Like,
What do I do for a living?
I don't know. Nobody starts it, right? Yeah.
so I mean,
Do you really wanna know?
cabinets, or do you do like flooring?
Me?
No, it was a joke.
Got
It was a joke.
Got
You did all media.
Got it.
Yeah. Check this out.
Yeah.
Well, that is a good question that you said that, as far as like that cabinet post. You actually do, I mean, I know like if someone wants your kitchen remodeled, you're gonna go and take their cabinets and put new cabinets in, but as far as like refacing, taking their doors off, the doors, you guys mess with that?
We do. It's not typically, we don't do a lot of it because when we give bids, people are blown away by how similar the cost of refacing is to just replacing cabinets. It's not. I don't think it's a cost-effective thing. We'll do
I've seen
it.
And I'm thinking,
but
man, does he really want someone to? I mean, because I'm sure you're busy giving estimates.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things. If someone says, "Hey, I just need a, 6x6 wall paint," I mean, it's going to get my name out there, but I'm usually going to be like, "Hey, I have a minimum," so I figured the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, cabinet refacing jobs are like thousands of dollars.
I think Scott had a quick question.
Yes, Scott.
What are we looking at? What would you consider as a successful post-reach on it? And Denise, if you want to jump in there too, because I see ranges.
To be honest with you, Scott, I don't even look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No views, you don't get as no views.
Not unless I'm specifically for content that is intended for brand awareness. I don't look at it except in large, in like maybe once a month. Like not often at all. I don't go through and watch how many views now ads that I'm running that I'm paying to reach people, I watch those very closely. In fact, I think I'm probably gonna adjust where I'm putting stuff probably later today. but brand awareness content, I honestly don't even worry about the reach.
If you're focused on a specific service or a specific thing, then that's where you would drill down and
Yeah.
look at, you know,
Yes.
how did this appeal? What kind of response did we get? Who responded to
The
it?
thing that I'm looking at is, the ultimate goal is how many people see you.
Mhm.
I mean, the content is important, and that's what gets people to see you. But, so I'm kind of curious, if you're not watching your reach, then how do you know you're getting any better? But I mean, that's just my thought on it. But I
Yeah.
see, you know, I can post just on my page and share it, and I'll get between 200 and 300 on a post reach. I can
Yeah.
post in Trinity Chat at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday and get about 1,000 post reach. But if 11 a.m. If I post at 11 p.m., I'll get 3,000 out of post reach.
Mhm.
And that's why I'm trying to figure out.
Like sharing on Trinity Chat, that I think you absolutely need to test and figure out what the best time of day is, because that
Just to help everybody
1,000
else
versus
out,
11 p.m.
Wednesdays post late.
That's the move. Late,
Because if you
yeah.
post in the morning, you're behind
And can
everybody
you
else's post.
It's late at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I post around 11
Those
on
ones in the middle of the
Wednesdays.
day, they just get lost.
Exactly.
On Wednesday late
Yeah.
at the okay, that's very good to know.
Later.
So you posted.
Yeah,
Ryan,
later is the best time.
Stop posting in the morning.
Yeah.
Before you go to bed or.
Yeah, and they're
Usually
gone.
People watch the news at 11, they get on Facebook at 11:15.
Yeah, and they're bored and they're just scrolling.
I wouldn't focus so much on reach, because that doesn't really tell you much.
Well, that is my question, because I think Facebook is, I mean, I paid for one ad. I had a post reach of like 470, I boosted it, I got like 102 more post reach out of it. I'm looking, you know,
Right.
why did I pay money for you to do a quarter of what I'd already done myself?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know how I feel about boosting.
But I'm just trying to figure out, you know, if anybody has, just give me a number, if anybody has one, what is a good post reach? I mean, 10
It's
people is not
completely
good.
depend.
It's-
But if it's 10 people who are in your target area and they're very interested in your services, and you book 5 of them, those 10 were better than the 10,000 who didn't do anything. Right?
That is one way to look at it, but
That's-
if you have 100
I think it's the
that saw
correct
it
way to
and
look at
50
it.
of them really like it, you have 10 times as many customers.
But it's like, one is better than, you know.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, I agree
yeah.
with what you're saying, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to argue that, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to say, okay, so we start the climb here, but if we just continue to do this, and my question is just, I don't know, I mean, I've seen my numbers go up, but I don't even, maybe I have horrible numbers to begin with, so I don't know if.
Everybody has horrible.
effective-
Everybody has horrible numbers to begin with.
Yeah.
They're 0 and 0.
Right.
Usually it's like,
Unless you
watch
run-
your revenue, watch what you make for me, when
Yeah.
I see a successful ad, my bank account tells me.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what-
Unless you
Yep.
run an ad on something, you're not gonna see the drill down information that you really need to know how well it did.
Most of my approach is not at a specific. My approach is more get their attention, now they see me, because people in my business, they either need pool service or they don't. You know, I'm not gonna find somebody that's, oh yeah, I needed that, I just didn't know it, they either need it or they don't, so they see my post week after week after week, and then when they do need pool service, I'm hoping they think of me. You know, they think of my post, something pops up, so I need, in my opinion, I need 3,000 people to see it, because I need them to remember a month, 2 months, that they need pool service. You know, if I had.
Which is why they're posting.
It doesn't cost you
consistently.
anything but your time, so in your case, then continue doing what you're doing if it's working for you. The only thing that I would recommend is, and if you may already be doing this, ask people how they found you.
Oh,
Okay?
absolutely.
So that you know that's where it's coming
We went
from.
for that
There's no
estimate
question, I can tell you
yesterday.
10 times,
Good.
10 out
Good.
of 11
So that's a
times,
measure.
chat, so.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying you're coming highly recommended
Yeah.
on the chat site.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, that was
Yeah,
very
it's 9:01.
informative.
So thank you guys for your attention. Really.
Well done. You crushed it. Nailed it.
Oh, do it.
I won't judge.
What's going on over there?
Everybody have a great day.
You too.
See you all later, thank you, everybody.
Bye.